part of our webinars and to be a part of the Voice of Research Excellence Program. We thank you so much for being here with us, and the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Asna, for the brief introduction about me. Actually, not brief, it's very long. And also thank you to Professor Dilip, who's my friend. We actually connect through the social media for a long time. And I was always following your African Business School. And I think that time for me to... can you see my slide? Can you see that?
You can start again sharing your screen by clicking on the button. Yeah, on the sharing button.
Okay, sorry. Okay, right. Okay. Can you see now?
Actually, it will take some time. Now we can see. Yeah, it's perfect.
Can I? Okay, right. So today, all students, I heard Prof say just now, some of the PhD students, just the first year, according to what Asna told me. And welcome to my talk about the topic that I'm going to talk is really the successful minimum wage policy in Malaysia, theory and practice on employee participation model in action. I also welcome some of my PhD students who are joining, I think, this evening. So welcome from Malaysia also. So basically today I would like to talk how myself involved in setting up the minimum wage policy in the country from the where I started from the my doctorate study. I started talking about the issue on employee participation and so on. So next, you can see that this is all my brief already explained by Asna. Basically, I want to highlight that I teaching more than 23 years at the university level, and I always go to the university where they are new university. I was always pioneer and try to establish the program, and I was very happy that I come to UMK University of Malaysia Kelantan, where we are developing entrepreneurship as our main agenda. And this is a fully entrepreneurship university in Malaysia. Okay, anybody, before I go on my talk, I think maybe you all know where is ASEAN. ASEAN is located in the down there, India, above China, and so on. But you look at the ASEAN countries, Malaysia is actually very small. You can see from the map that Malaysia divided by Peninsula and Sabah and Sarawak. The look like yellow color. That's Malaysia. Then go see next page. Next map is actually Malaysia. We got East and West Malaysia. All right. So if you look at the map, Peninsula Malaysia on the left, that's what I'm working now. And then you can see where is the University of Malaysia Kelantan. We are above Thailand. Thailand about 1 hour drive from here. You can go to the border, and then of course we face the China Sea in opposite. So we are in the East Coast, Peninsula Malaysia. Okay, this is our campus. So welcome to our campus. And next time maybe you want to make a trip, and maybe we can make some MOU. And so our campus divided by 3 campus. So one is a city campus where I am now. I'm the city campus. They call Kota Baru, a small town, and they also go outside 2 campus. So these are all my books I publish. I'm still writing. That is a part of our academic life. Okay, why I show my mom here? Actually, why minimum wage was my interest. Why I like labor. Why I like industrial relation, because of all my stuff from my mom. So my mom passed away in a very young age, at around 55, when I was in high school. I'm studying in high school, pre-university. At that time, my mother was working in the rubber plantation. You can see that in Malaysia, those days, rubber plantation is very important. We stay in Bidong Kedah. Kedah is a northern part of Peninsula Malaysia, very close to Thailand also. It's a northern part, near Penang. I don't know whether you heard Penang, but it's Penang. So that's why I start interesting to do something to help not only my mother, but all mothers in the plant sector, because they receive very low salary, daily salary, not enough to sustain the family. Safety is very bad. And all this because of bad condition in the plantation sector. and that's why my mom passed away, because I can see on my eyes how she suffered in the plantation sector. And then later, when I was after I complete my doctorate, PhD, when I was in Australia, I studied IR, and I work under those people very pro employees labor. And then I come back to Sabah. Sabah, I think I showed you just now, east coast of Malaysia, very beautiful state. The highest mountain was located in Sabah, Mount Kinabalu. And then I came back with my colleagues. I started program we call Industrial Relation Program. And during the time when I was in the university, I always bring the industry to campus, especially trade union, because I want my students to learn something from them. And then this is highlight. That time we don't have the minimum wage policy in the country, but many countries already have. So we want to declare as developed nation, we need to have a minimum wage. So at that time, I was promoting, talking, debating at an academic level. But of course, I link to the industry. I bring the employers, I bring the union, and everybody come and talk. At that time, we don't have the minimum wage, and then you can see that ILO convention number 131 on minimum wage fixing 1970s. And you can see many countries around the world, especially, I don't know, Morocco, you have a minimum wage or not, I'm not sure. Maybe later you can share with me. But many countries already have a minimum wage, except Malaysia. We don't have the minimum wage. We are still based on the labor force market, the wage setting by labor market. And of course, thankful to our previous government under our former Prime Minister. After going on about three-party discussion, then we ratified the ILO convention. First time ratified ILO convention, and then we come up with the law, the National Wage Consultative Council Act 2011. I was one of the member of involved in discussion to set up this council, and also we were active. So I'm very proud. Until now, I was in the council. All right. So why we need a minimum wage? Very simple. Four basic to ensure all needs for workers and their families, sufficient social protection workers, reduce the foreign workers, especially unskilled cheap labor. And of course, we want to compile the industry to move on the value chain. We want to go high-tech and so on. So these are basically four objectives. Every 2 years, we will review the salary based on this objective. Okay, so this is, you can see, minimum wage is not new. It was there a long time ago. I think before we independent in 1957, the British brought all the labor to plantation and also mine industry. And that time, I think there were especially look at a lot of Indian, especially myself, a third generation. I'm the Indian Malaysian, but my forefathers come from southern India. So they brought the employees from there to work there, but working condition very bad. So, and then of course, a lot of issue in the many sectors about the wages, and it's not mentioned by my mom. Many industry are suffering due to the lower wages and the very bad condition. So we don't have the good wage setting in Malaysia. Everything will be decided by the by the employers. And then there will be problem on the wages inequality. So we have inequality on the palm oil, especially look at the wage equality within the industry, within the male and female and so on. Okay, what I'm saying that we have minimum wage, but it's not cover the whole Malaysia. We have some of the wage council 1947 and collective bargaining and so on. So there were three types how we determine the wages. First, of course, we use the Wage Council Act 1947. As I told you before, we have a minimum wage, but not cover the whole Malaysia. Only cover certain sectors. And then next we go to collective bargaining. Of course, collective bargaining is very weak due to the 7% only unionization. And of course, other than union, 93% the wages set by market forces. So that means you can pay any amount that you like to pay. So it depending on the depending on the employers to pay. All right. And as I told you before, we already have an act, but this act only covers certain sectors. As you can see that only entertainment, port, security guard. But other than that, no. So other sectors all not covered by this act. So that meaning to say that the wages will be labor market force. So they pay very little. So this is all the 1947 minimum wage act they have, but only certain sectors. You can see catering, cinema, shop. But other than that, no, they don't have the minimum wage. So this is a ratify the labor market. That's why we become the national minimum wage consultative council, right? All right. So and why we need to pay, because the vulnerable and low pay inadequate quality bargaining. So and then the minimum wage also not regularized, always revised. So it's a ad hoc, not like proper law, proper act. What happened today? Okay. So again, I told you just now, collective agreement, yes, but only 6.5% our labor force is unionized. So that means the rest of the 96% or 95% is actually not covered by the union. So they are not paid according to on the CA. CA is very good for the union because they can discuss every 3 years, but not like any. So the others with determination by through labor market force, where they were looking at the price control, subsidy, and so on, and then they're relying on all unskilled workers. Workers come from Bangladesh, workers come from Myanmar, Vietnam, and Indonesia. We just took all unskilled people, but we left out the local workers. So we pay low pay for these foreign laborers, and the foreign laborers come to Malaysia, and then they work here. Of course, they are not coming with the family. They work very hard. Whereas the locals always doesn't come to the labor market. Then we found that locals need something to ratify on the wage system. Okay, so who actually involved? Who started to set up the wage system? Of course, I will thankful to the trade union intervention. So we have MTUC, we call Malaysian Trade Union Congress. This is an umbrella was set up under society, but however, this 7% unionized under the MTUC, they are always debate in the public forum. They always put a proposal to the government. They always engage with the employers. They're talking about wage and so on. So they struggle not just 1 or 2 days. It started 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and even 2000. After 2000, nothing happened. Until 2011, then the government agreed to reconsider, to enact the law. So of course, in Malaysia, we have two biggest entity that is we call represent the workers, MTUC, Malaysian Trade Union Congress, versus MEF, Malaysian Employee Federation. Okay, if you look after independence, we are independence in 1957. Until 2010, we only wages only setting by labor market and also collective agreement. So then what happened is these two entity, MEF is represent the all employers. MTC is all the union and labor. They always have differences between them. I think you go back to theory of industrial relation is a very global container where theory IR explain the differences between employers and the union. They always have fight. They always have misunderstand, misinterpretation. Of course, they will come to some consensus. That's interesting in Malaysia happen now. So I was in the process where there are tripartism involved, including academic people like us. We're sitting, we discuss, we debate, and finally we come to consensus. That's a good spirit we have under tripartism in Malaysia. So I'm really thankful to these two entities, and also government become the third party who are looking at this both. And once they both have consensus, then government have a role to play to enact the law. So of course, you can see here 2007, MTC made a proposal to government to implement national. So always there will be there will be a rejection by the government, because government say we are still developing nation. We still need a foreign investor to come to Malaysia, and we have to consider hold first the national minimum wage law. So then they also got NGO and so on. Everybody, because you can see that just now I was informed, I was discussed with you all. This is not the issue in today or 10 years ago. It was the many years back, and it was a whole for many years. So we as academic also play a very important role. Just now, Prof. Dilip was talking. I very impressed what he said, that he connect the industry problem to the academic. That is important. Any PhD student, you always think, master, what is your fundamental issue? What is the key issue in the industry? And then you try to find ways to solve the problem through the academic, through the academic contribution. That's why you're doing PhD or masters. These 2 degrees very important. Actually, you're proposing something very interesting. That's what I did. Even I do for my student. I currently have about more than 14 students. 3 or 4, 5 already graduated. I always tell them, you want to do a master or PhD, please make sure that you have the key problem and look at what problem in the industry, in society, in the community, and from there you bring back. So my student working in the different topic on HR and IR, so all interesting. They are contributing to the body of knowledge, of course, an academic contribution. At the same time, they also are contributing to the need. Well, look at here, our salary. Let's say the MTUC trade union proposal. Let's say we only receive 900 plus 300 ringgit. You can see the expenditure goes to food and labor, other cost transportation. So not enough actually. 900 not enough for them to survive. As we call this B40 group. B40 group is a vulnerable group. Those always low income group. So with this income, I don't so they're enough for them to sustain their family. So that's why we need to have a law to apply to all the employees in Malaysia. So you have a law, everybody will follow. All right. If you look at this research be done, so that's why our research very important. Those doing PhD, master, you have to show the research. From here, you can see the poverty. Less than people earning less than 700 ringgit before 2011. Okay, very less. No, not enough. You look at here, 900 also not enough. And then this is what the real scenario. And this study done by the Ministry of Human Resources. Okay, so World Bank did a big research in Malaysia. They found that the productivity increased 6 to 7%, but the wages only 2.6%. That's all, stagnant, never increased, even though productivity increased. Supposedly, when productivity increased, hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, Prof.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. So then the Prime Minister announced in 2011 on the budget. So then he said, okay, we will agree to have a National Wages Consultative Council Act. It's an act, actually law, already passed through in 2011 in his budget speech. But of course, there was an enactment. Okay. All right. So this is the criteria we set up for minimum wage. Of course, we have a basic criteria where we looking at both employer and employee. For employee, we use a poverty line income. For employer, we use a median wage. And this is justified to come up with a formula. We developed this formula. And of course, later many countries use our formula. And I think ILO also very satisfied with our formula. And they said this is good. So this is a go through very deep process to develop this criteria between all parties. After we have the law, we go through to determine how to determine the wages. Of course, there's adjustment criteria. We're using productivity growth, CPI, and real unemployment. Okay, this is our formula. You can see that this is a formula we use to determine wages for every 2 years. Under the law, every 2 years we need to come up with a new rate of salary. So we use this formula, and from the time to time we are adjusting this formula. So this is actually good news for all the employees and employees, because we have the proper formula to set up the wages. Whereas comparable to last time, they don't have any formula to set up. They just go the labor market system. Okay. Okay. If we look at now, we only got one rate for all Malaysia, except we have selected cities. The cities we pay about 1,200. All right, and that's the hourly pay. All right, and okay, now I come back to relate how we set up this council and how we have a proper meeting to set up the wages. Of course, I will relate to the theoretical part. Just go through with you the theoretical part. How we are using Matchington model. Professor Matchington was from Manchester University in UK. In 1992, you come up with this model we call JCC, Joint Consultation Committees. Before we talk about JCC, Joint Consultation Committee, we need to understand what is employee participation. So that is my whole PhD. I did PhD on this topic. I explore it deeply with the with the theory and the practice. I went to the 3 big companies and small and big companies. Okay, so actually the meaning of this EP, employee participation, is actually decision-making process. How you make a process and so on. And the EP is empowered tripartism, tripartite, meaning to say union, management, or employers and the government sitting together make a decision-making process. So you cannot make by one people, but everybody must participate. And that's what employee participation. If you look at here, under employee participation, there's a direct and indirect. So basically, you can see that I'm focusing on the indirect, where you see on the left corner, Joint Consulting Committee. So the committee that set up the minimum wage at the national level come from this theoretical background, where Professor Matchington and others will develop this model, right? And there are many indirect, which my student doing in the different topics now at the moment. The other side we call direct. Direct means employee will directly involve, like TKM, ISO, and so on. All right. So what Professor Matchington defined JCC a mechanism for managers, employees to meet on regular basis in order exchange views, utilize member knowledge, expertise to deal with the common interest. So sometimes in the workplace, you have union, and at the same time you only focus on the collective bargaining issues. But I don't know, many of you know about collective bargaining. Collective bargaining is actually trade union will use collective bargaining as a way to negotiate the salary and non-salary matters with the management. After that, they will sign agreement and endorsed by the industry court, by the court. So anybody must follow both employers and employers. Otherwise, the case can brought to the court. But JCC is actually a body that established by the top management to discuss issue beyond the collective bargaining issues. So in this context, I will bring you later how we set up the minimum wage at the national level. How related JCC into what they call JCC, and we connect to the National Wage Council committee. Okay, now this is the current institute framework of minimum wage in Malaysia. If I look at the Matchington theory, is applied here. So currently, we have a cabinet. Under the cabinet, we got National Wage Consultative Council. So this council representative by, you can see down there, by what they call employers and employees, representative. Like I said just now, MEF and other employers, big employers will be in the committee, and also union also in the committee. And of course, we also got independent government body to involve. If you look at the red color on the side of the left, that's why I'm sitting now. We call minimum wage technical committee. Technical committee represent by all the professors on the economy, labor, IR. They are sitting there to do a research and prepare the research report to bring to the National Wage Council Committee, and they debate. After debate, they maybe review the salary or not. They bring back again to technical committee. So this is how the system work out. And this system actually under tripartism, as what Professor Matchington said. Tripartism very important in the setting up the salary. It's not bypass one to another, but actually is a consensus by any. So there will be a lot of issue, misunderstanding, debate, and so on. But so our role, where I am sitting in the committee, at the now currently we are doing research, collect data. We go around the country. At the same time, we also got hard data and soft data. We collect data from the statistic department, from the various research component, and we do our own research also. And then we compile and come up with a report, and then we present to the NWCC. So then NWCC will discuss, debate. Once they are agreed, then they bring to the cabinet, and cabinet will endorse the wage. So every 2 years we will do this exercise in order to to give justice to the employers and employers. That's why I'm telling you, your research must connect to the theory. Don't say theory no important. Theory is very, very important. With the theory, you can see how important it is for the country. Okay, if you look at the composition of NWC, this is a composition, National Wage Consultative Council. You can see the chairman, deputy chairman, and then they got secretary, and we can see all the at least 5 people from the each component. They got employees representative, and they also got public officer from the government, and they got independent bodies also, members also in the committee. So you can see that very systematically we discuss the minimum wage at the national level, and then only the wages will set up at the national level. So many people don't understand how the process. Actually, the process is actually what I'm saying just now. It's a tripartism. Okay, so this NWCC established in 28 September 2011. Now we are almost about 9 years, almost 10 years. So what their role is: advise the government, recommendation, consult the public, and so on. So this is what they are trying to do. Okay, the role of minister. All right. So normally, Minister of Human Resource, he doesn't involve directly. He will listen to the NCW, but of course, appointment all must go through him, and he may reject or accept any committees that he feel not suitable, and then finally they also make the order to announce and make regulation. That's the role of Minister of Human Resource. Okay, and this is where I am sitting. In my technical committee, I have a chairman, deputy chairman, and then all the department, and including some of the professors sitting there also. And then this is how we do research and we present to the NWCC. So it's very systematically done, the research, and bring back to there. Okay. Okay, the process is like this. Setting up the wages. Of course, we do the public consultation. We go around the country. We do the focus group discussion by state or by region. And after that, we deliver in the technical committee. And the technical committee will do research report and deliver to NWCC. If the cabinet agreed, they will set up the wages. If not agreed, then of course go back to the committee. So this is how the process setting up the wages in Malaysia. So briefly, okay, so of course during the meeting, they always have a misunderstanding between employer and employees, and of course everybody will come to consensus by the end of the meeting. So the meeting can be 2 or 3 meetings to see whether the rate that we propose from technical committee, whether acceptable by this NWCC. If they don't agree, they have to justify why don't agree. If they agree, also justify. And then if they say not happy, they will send back to us, and we do one more round and make sure that everything. Normally it won't come back to us because we do the proper research and deliver to them. Okay, so what I conclude here. Okay, of course, when we set up NWCC, when the government passed the law, act, at that time we have a lot of discussion, a lot of problems, a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of argument, a lot of, because always, you know that employers always against the minimum wage. Union always want to have minimum wage because they want to upgrade the welfare of the employees. So this struggle is actually go back to the theoretical framework. Industrial relation actually divided by employers and employees. So of course, IR always bring the industry harmony in the end of the day. And then of course, we have to go stage by stage, more tolerant understanding. You know, when you present the data, statistic, we must convince these parties. When they're both convinced, and then they will go next and the third level. So normally our committee, technical committee at the national level, will be a backbone, and they are the one support NWCC. So we are actually playing a very crucial role in order to setting up the wages at the national, as a national level. So at the currently we are doing research now. At the currently we are going around the country, and also we are collecting data, and so we're writing paper and so on. Then finally we make a report and we will submit to the NWCC committee. And if they agreed, then they will pass the new rate. And so that is something good news for all the employees, especially low income group, where they will hoping that every 2 years there will be some salary adjustment for themselves. That's also we encourage the employers to revise their salary by their own mechanism. No need to wait for 2 years. They can do also. This is another issue that we also consider the employers should think differently, that they have to take care of their employees and so on. And we can see that the number of the foreign workers dropping after we introduced the minimum wage, not so big, the gap, but it still is dropping because the locals already come to the labor market now, because they see that there's a wages increase. And now the worst is actually after COVID-19, of course many locals will come to the India. So we are updating to the cabinet, and cabinet we are updating to the Ministry of Human Resource, and Ministry of Human Resource will update to the cabinet, to the Prime Minister Department. So what I'm telling you now, actually, from the what I'm saying that when I started my doctorate, I don't have any, I have in my mind that one day there will be a wage, national wage policy as what ILO was ratified in the ILO ratification. And that was my dream also. And also I have to give back to my country. I have to give back to all the people in the low income group, especially represent my mom. My mom, if she's not working in the deportation, she can alive until now. She can live longer. But what happened? What is going to happen? She pass away. So we want all this to ratify on the labor market. So that's why I was very happy throughout my doctorate, through my master's degree, my doctorate. Finally, the end product is actually solving the industry problem. All right. So I show you some of the model that I developed by myself after I gone through 23 years. So I set up this model for Malaysia. So I come up with a pluralist perspective, because industrial relation we can see different perspective: unitarism, pluralist, Marx, and so on. So the relevant for this, I think Morocco. I'm not sure how your situation now. Probably you also have the different perspective on the idea. So you look at the contextual issues. Of course, you have to look at historical, international economy, labor market, technical, political, legal, social, and media. All these I already explained to you in my first slide. And of course, why minimum wage happened? Of course, of the theory on JCC in relation to social dialogue. So tripartism discussion, and we can see that NCW, MEF, MTUC, and Musyarah. And I think the good thing that conflict to cooperation. So partnership is very important, because without partnership, there's no way you can see the development on the on the minimum wage in Malaysia. All right. So my what I'm conclude here is actually the effective employee person in the organization can be source of success of any labor HR policy that affect people. So this is very useful for you in Morocco situation. You can influence your government, you can influence your employer, you also can influence your employees. Try to see that the model that you develop in your doctorate or even in the master's level, but mostly in the doctorate level, try to see the model can fit to the problem that you're solving and can fit to the policy of the country. Remember that your country you are the one supposed to work very, very hard and help in that particular. So what we try to do, we are actually collaborative. So I'm sharing my knowledge to you so that the sharing knowledge can useful for both countries. And I believe Morocco and Malaysia have the similar type of, you also based on the Muslim state, we also Muslim state, you also got multicultural, we also got multicultural. So I think we can work together. We can see the people is almost same. There's no difference between you and here. So that the issue is a global issue. No more is a local issue. It's going to be a global issue. So I think you should think about future of the nation, and also thinking to ask my PhD student to do many research that impacted the policy of the country. Okay, I think that's all. Asna? Hello.
Thank you, Professor.
Already 40 minutes. I think I finished 38 minutes.
Yeah. Thank you for your presentation.
Okay.
So we will open up.
I'm sorry, we have heavy rain here just now. Very, very thunderstorm and heavy rain just now. Just stop. That's why I couldn't hear. So it's okay now. Okay, ready. Almost fine. Okay. All right. You continue. Okay.
Okay. So we can start the discussion session. So anyone who has question, he can ask directly the professor, and or just put your question in the chat box if you are not comfortable with speaking and muting yourself.
How many students now at the moment?
We have 25 participants in the webinar.
Oh, I see one my master student Raziman there. Hi Raziman, how are you?
Fine, fine, Prof.
Okay, he is the IR Industrial Relation expert, working as a IR senior executive.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay, so you can ask question. Don't worry, make it yourself. Relax. We are online now.
Hello, Prof.
Yes. Yes. Continue.
Hello, Prof. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can.
This is Dr. Ganesan here, your good friend.
Oh, yeah. Dr. Ganesan, how are you? How are you,
oh,
sir?
Fine, Doctor. I just joined just now.
Okay.
Just want to know, Prof, is there any chance in the future the minimum wage will be increased in Malaysia? As you see from the beginning, and then they increase certain amount. So is there any chance to increase in the future for the minimum wage for the private sector?
Okay, thanks, Dr. Ganesan. Dr. Ganesan is a labor history expert in Malaysia. So some of you can connect with him. Okay, thank you, Doctor. I think the increase of wages in Malaysia, I mean, any countries in the world must have what you call based on the economy situation, all right, labor market situation. Of course, we have to looking at the employer's capacity to pay the salary, and also union proposal. So it's not increase or not increase. Of course, the minimum wage always increase. You can see that when we started, it's only about 900. Am I right? In 2011, 900. Today, you can see almost 1,200. We cannot gradually increase because this is a minimum wage. You must remember that minimum wage actually is setting for the minimum standard only. The rest of the salary adjustment must be done by the employer, because employer have responsibility to increase. That's why we are come up with I have my PhD student, Mr. Sugu. He's doing PLWS, Productivity Linked Wage System. So it's time for us to adopt and implement PWS at the workplace. So salary, of course, it will go according to the condition of the country. You know, if let's say the country is like COVID-19 now, we are very bad situation. You cannot simply increase the salary. You will go damage the industry, because understand that many countries in the world, 90% of the country based on the SME and micro. Do you know that Malaysia micro is about 60%, 70%. So we're going to damage the whole industry. But of course, gradually we go there. Of course, you have to see other factors put in place, not only minimum wage. Other factors like other policies, like you have to see improve the infrastructure, road system, water, electricity, and giving a lot of incentive for the SME when they are growing. And of course, when they are doing well, then we can pay back to the employees. And of course, employee must think also. Don't just take a minimum wage, sitting there, enjoy your life. It's not like that. They have to work very, very hard to improve themselves. And I believe there are many ways to improve. They have got all like kemahiran, we call skill-based, introduced by Ministry of Human Resources. They can pick up the cost and they can improve themselves. So it will gradually increase. But of course, looking at the situation now, that's what my comment to you, Doctor.
Okay, bro. Okay, thank you very much, bro.
Okay. All right. Hopefully, participant from Morocco. Anyone? Thank you, Doctor.
Hello, Professor.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes. What's the name, please? Hello.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please continue.
Good afternoon, Professor. Good afternoon, Hasna. Good afternoon, all participants. I'm Abdul Jalil Muhafi. Thank you for your presentation, which has enabled us to have a general view about minimum wages and labor wages policy in Malaysia to enable us to have a benchmark with the Moroccan policy. My question is concerning about women at workplace in Malaysia. Do they have the same minimum wage as men or no? Or is there any policy that's or association or unions that defend women wages in Malaysia? And how roughly the percentage of women at workplace? Thank you, Professor.
Okay. Your question about the gender, am I right? Am I right? You want to ask question the wages between male and female. That's your question?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
About gender equality at workplace and minimum wages. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Under the law, there's no discrimination. Okay. There's no discrimination between male and female. And in fact, the good news is even we don't discriminate the foreign laborers. The foreign workers who coming from the other country to Malaysia, they equally pay with the locals. So there's no discrimination. These are under ILO ratification. ILO very clear across the country say that there will be no discrimination on the gender, on the job scope, or type of job, type of people coming work. No, there's no. Everybody same, equally paid. Of course, you look at the Malaysian situation now. The majority labor force actually comprised for women. Women go to the job due to the income, not enough income. Some of them, a lot of people from the lower income group, they are already entering the labor market work. And with the minimum wage, sir, I just informed you, sir, I don't know about Morocco situation. With the minimum wage come in, more and more people go to labor market, especially women, because I just shared with you, sir. I just sharing with you. In the beginning, when we introduced the minimum wage, after for a while, I think I have a TV show. They call me for radio television. They call me for the to ask my feedback about the minimum wage. At that time, there are callers, from the radio, and they start crying. Many women cry. Actually, many women cry and non-stop. And they said, Dr. Prabala, we thankful to you. No, I said, you don't thank to me. Thanks to our government in the previous government, Prime Minister, and also other people, union, and also employers. You have to thankful them, not me. I'm just helping you. So they said, why they say? Because first time they're enjoying the salary about 1,000 ringgit. They get pay in their hand. And at the same time, they're able to take the loan because they got a pay slip recorded, everything recorded, and they got the employee provident fund for their life saving. So you can see that how minimum wage changed the life of people, especially women, and also the men. So you can see even the worst is after COVID-19 now. COVID-19 actually bringing more locals to come and work. So these are the situation in Malaysia. There will be no discrimination under the ILO around the country in the world, and everybody equally treated. Okay, sir? I answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Professor.
Okay, may I ask one question from you? How the situation in Morocco? Do you have a minimum wage?
Yes, Professor, we have it. Hello, I'm Kautar. I'm a PhD candidate in ABS.
Okay.
We have a minimum wage which is like managed by an institution of Morocco. So we have it.
Okay. Is it across the national rate?
Yeah, but the problem in Morocco that like most of employees don't subscribe to this minimal wage to this institution, so it creates a problem related to payment of employees.
So you may take some of our point. I think good. Malaysia can be example. So that
yeah, now after the COVID-19, like after this crisis, people got like understood the importance of like subscription to the minimum wage. So it might be somewhat resolved in the future. But like I have a question related to the same topic. How like countries will be managing this minimum wage after the COVID-19 crisis?
Oh, okay. Basically, okay. Just now, I think after COVID-19, what happened is a lot of employers actually retrench the employees. Retrench employees due to the the business closed down, especially under the lockdown period. Lockdown period. Like I can take example in Malaysia. When we started on the 18 March lockdown until May, I think May 4th May, we are total lockdown. We are no any business outside there, cannot go out of home. At that time, I think a lot of business collapsed, except some business still keep on going, like food and all these businesses going because people selling the food and the supermarket still going, retailing still going, but hotel, airline business, and then the logistics, some logistic business all actually collapse. Meaning to say they are. So what happened is we very clear under the law, that we cannot discriminate. You have to pay the salary, minimum wage salary. So what the government come up, I really thankful to our Prime Minister, Tan Sri Muhyiddin, the new Prime Minister that's just appointed. He and the team, cabinet, come up with one policy they call wage subsidy. Wage subsidy is actually top up the salary in the employers, especially micro and SME. Remember, micro and SME cannot unsurvivable business. So this government bring this wage subsidy. It top up the money. The money comes from the government, and they will ask the employer how much you can pay. So employer, let's say, pay 30%. 70% will pay by the government. So top up. So this will be equivalent to minimum wage. That's how the negotiation process is taking place. But some of the companies is really like small, medium size. They can survive. They may have a negotiation with employees or trade unions, where they may negotiate that, okay, we're going to cut some allowance, we're going to cut the overtime, but we pay the minimum wage. So the law very clear. Then we slowly open up the business on the 4th of May and total open on this June. But still, we under still MCO, we still have the movement control order, but very open control. So a lot of business already taking place. So slowly, the unemployment rate was worse during the 3 months. Now picking up, dropping, and then a lot of locals go in. So that is happening during the MCO. The government is supporting. I heard many government doesn't come and help. I don't tell me any government. I know some of the government doesn't do anything for the employers and the employees and the trade union. So we need to have a responsible government. So this happened to Malaysia. So I'm really thankful to them. And they also have special package for the SME. This is not the wages, but to help the SME to borrow the loan and so on. The other interesting part in Malaysia happened for 6 months. They call moratorium. Okay, moratorium. You know us now. Many employees debt to the bank. Am I right? They got housing loan, they got car loan, they got personal loan. Everything loan they pay end up with nothing the salary. So what the government did across the country, 6 months the bank actually asked no need to pay. We call moratorium. 6 months no need to pay any installment, and there's no any penalty for that. That is interesting. By October we pay back, but no penalty. So imagine 6 months all the employees enjoying the loan they're going to pay bank, they keep for themselves, and they are really happy. I'm telling you, this is a happiness shared by all the Malaysians. So we are multi-racial country. We got Indian, Chinese, Malays, Kadazan, Dusun, many races. Everybody share during the hard time. So the whole country sitting there and looking at how we. So I'm very proud to see how Malaysia react to the COVID-19, and of course we pay the minimum salary. So are you okay with that? My answer, certify you?
Yeah, thank you very much. Like,
how's the Moroccan government do that? Is it COVID-19 government come up with a package?
The Moroccan government was very supportive in this crisis to most of the people, even to those who didn't like wasn't subscribed to the institution responsible for like managing minimal wages. So like I think it was very supportive, but like the impact of the crisis will go beyond like this period, the period of crisis. So all economies will be affected, and like there is a limit to which like a government can support like all its people. So
okay, so that's interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think basically I can see that I think the issue is not your individual issue. It's the world global issue, I think. So we need to address issue, not looking at the one country. Maybe we can share the knowledge throughout the world, because everybody's suffering now at the moment. I'm really sorry to say that when I go out and see in the hotel, no occupants, pity on them, no rooms, no occupied. Restaurant is no many people coming down there. Everybody's scared now. This COVID-19, looking at the positive and the negative way now, it teaches everything for us to reflect back where we are now. So I believe that not only Morocco and Malaysia, I think the whole world now suffering, especially look at some countries still struggling like India, US, Brazil, and so on.
Yeah, it's a global issue. So like countries should manage to solve this. To go through this crisis.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Any students ask?
Yes, Prof.
Okay.
Me, Mala. I just want to ask about this enforcement, Prof. Enforcement, especially in Sabah.
Okay.
How's the enforcement of minimum salary, Prof?
Yes. Okay. That's another issue. When you always have a good policy, when it comes to enforcement, I think is always a problem. But I think Dr. Mala, recently we received a report from the Department of Labor Department. They said about 95% above almost 90% above the enforcement. Many employers follow the minimum wage law. Of course, there will be employers also taking opportunity, where they might change the formal to informal sectors. It's all about the creativity of employers. Where when you pay something, they are transferred back to the informal sector. So of course, Sabah, I was there for many years. I know I went through some of the people there and asking around, and then they say, but of course, the enforcement always be done, but you cannot cover the whole country because they have a lack of manpower. So, but anyway, with after 10, 11 years, the report show that everybody know they are responsible, especially employers, they know. I just share with you, Doctor. Recently we have FGD with all the national trade union and employers. They are okay, they're fine with paying the minimum wage. They only need to know some factors like they are suffering now under COVID-19 and so on. So they maybe want to deferment all this. But it's all discussion going on, because we have the National Wages Council where all the big parties sitting there and they have to discuss, and then only we bypass. So I'm very glad to see that we have the very independent body to determine the wages in Malaysia. So you cannot just simply go and you see every year announcement is actually come from this council. So of course I'm agree with you, not only Malaysia but many countries, when it comes to enforcement, of course we must be very serious, because otherwise you're going to defer the whole idea of that. But I can see that there are some impact on the labor market now, and then more locals already go to the labor market because they're suffering, they lost job, no job now, and now they're taking up even 3D job taken by the Malaysian. And also good news that we are documented, undocumented. I don't know, Morocco maybe have this problem also. Maybe some immigrant come from Africa, through Morocco, they want to go to Europe, they have stopped over. I see a lot of European in Spain, all a lot of people moving one country to another country. So the good thing, COVID-19, we're going to record them, because when you caught by the COVID-19, they go through some tests. Of course, they want to see the document. So the good thing of government said, once you have this negative, you have to go back to your country immediately. So we're going to record system, documented. I mean, only document people can come and work. So this is also another, I think, issue that I see as a positive in the country happening now.
Thanks for that, Prof. Prof, just wonder, Prof, how long they're going to support us, the government, on the subsidy, the salary.
Oh, okay. Subsidy, I think they are only giving like 3 months. Remember last time, 3 to 6 months only. So they are depending on the case by case. Like you see, moratorium. Recently, the Prime Minister announced.
Not the minimum salary. If you sign up the grant, right, Prof? Then only they will give you, right? Then you cannot.
Yes. It's actually depending on the situation now. If situation improving, okay, then they look at especially micro industry, micro and macro, and then also again they must register under SSM and so on. Then only they will consider that. But of course, it's a case by case. But now they announced a moratorium only for those lost totally no job at all. They will extend it until another 3 months. Again, recently the Prime Minister announced that one for moratorium. But of course, for the SME, they will see the case by case. Like at the moment, I think they are still helping them. But later, maybe they will have another, announcement. I'm not sure. Depend on the how situation it is.
Okay, thanks, Prof.
Okay. I think Dr. Dilip there. Dilip, are you there?
Any more question?
Anything? I think PhD students are supposed to ask the question.
Yes, normally.
Because PhD means you have to debate, you have to ask question. Don't be quiet. Okay, all right.
Prof?
Who's that? Raziman? Raziman? Okay.
Can I share the real scenario before the minimum wage?
Okay, all right.
As the industrial practitioner?
Okay, all right. Okay.
As what we see, minimum wage is a minimum. Before the minimum wage salary, real scenario is the workers, there's no pay scale. I mean, some of the workers will get a 500, 600, or maybe 800 based on their experience or any other criteria set up by the employer. So minimum wage salary is basically improve the living of the ground level of people. Is as what we call is the minimum. So when we call the minimum is giving the one standard as a guideline to the employer, so must pay the minimum the pay salary to the ground level of people in order to improve their lifestyle. It's really as a beneficial policy as Prof called. It's very beneficial to say, especially in the ground level of people. This what, Prof. Thank you.
Yeah. Of course. The whole motive minimum wage actually to help the lower income group people, and then like what you said, we can see some tremendous changes happen among them because we do research recently. Not recently lah. Every 2 years we do research. So the research indicate that they are improving a lot, and even the workplace also restructuring now. Even the employer also willing to go and change their mindset, to improve the productivity. Of course, in the bottom line is human capital. So that's why I always telling anyone we need to respect. So just now I come up with a new theory: human respect versus human resource. So I'm really inventing this theory. So human is actually no resource. Human is a human. They have to be respect. So when you respect others, I think everything will come in the picture. And of course, to guide this, we have to use a religion. Every religion was telling the good thing. So we go in the clear heart, good heart. I think both work together. I think the country can grow, the companies can grow. So this is a basic fundamental issue, I think from all my research show that indicated that if you can follow this, I think everything will be good for the people. So anyone?
Hello, Professor. I
Okay.
am a PhD student from Africa Business School.
Okay.
I have a question that's about the government and the governance in the future. Don't you think that the system of governance should be changed because the situation for the role of government is just like a supporter? So just in case they are just giving a money without having back from that money, they should actually be like entrepreneurs or like partners with the private sector. So don't you think that the government's system should be changed?
Oh, yeah. Actually, you see, any government in the world, especially I'm looking from Malaysian perspective, entrepreneurship is actually become one of the core area that we are embarking now, because of course the government only reacting during the crisis, okay, but most of the time the government encourage the partnership between the private sectors, and then like you're looking at the IR perspective, employers and the employees. So of course in the crisis, of course government have to come up with a firm policy. So the policy actually set up by the government, like Malaysia, we have policy the high income nation by 2030, prosperity policy. So they set up by the government. The government must set up the clear policy for the future, but the implementer actually come from the private sector, and the government will support us all these. So that's why you see many countries in the world go to the privatization. Some of the industry, of course, there's merit or demerit advantage, but the fundamental issue is that we want to grow our country, so we need to have all the collaborators. So entrepreneurship, of course, one of the way to out from the to improve our economy in the country. So in fact, our university here, University of Malaysia Kelantan, was set up basically for achieve this mission. We are here to train our students to be entrepreneur, rather than seeking for the job, creating a job. So we are giving a lot of mechanism in here. That's what I'm telling you now. The private sector and the government must work together, and of course support by other NGOs and so on. So in the future there will be more decentralization. No centralized of government, decentralized, and the leadership will going to be more like collaborative leadership, rather than become the one-man show. No more, not relevant anymore. It's going to be all collaborative. Everybody participate in the country development, so that we can see this. So we see in Malaysia is happening like this. In the past 20 years, we are actually backward before independent. Now, of course, we're still thinking that we are not good as other country growing, and the fast track country growing like Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, all fast tracking. So I believe when I was in Indonesia for many years, I go do my research with my friends. I can see the new development coming out. Once a time, Indonesia backward, but today they come out. So every country actually putting the effort to bring the nation to the next level. So I believe Morocco also, you are very good in the strategic place between Africa and Europe. You are connecting in between. I think you have a very good potential in terms of business, in terms of education, in terms of many things, because you are in the between. I believe that with this connection, and you need to connect to Asia also, because Asia very unique, in terms of the in terms of business and so on. So we need to think outside the box now. We no need to work silo, but work as a global partners. So that I believe will happen in the future. Okay.
Thank you, Professor.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Any more? Just now? Hi, Prof. You're back again. Oh, I hope you are in Malaysia. You can give some comment also.
I was thinking about these the migrant entrepreneurs.
All right. Okay.
This is a very different sector exactly we are touching into, and their income, not that there is no specific income at all.
Okay.
And they are migrated from one country to another country, and they stay over there for a period and they stabilize themselves.
Okay.
How you look upon the prospect of these migrant entrepreneurs and their profession like migrant entrepreneurs, and how the countries will be inviting that concept?
Oh, migrant entrepreneurs. Can I have some info from you? Is it the migrant workers you mean, or migrant entrepreneurs?
Migrant entrepreneurs.
They come from other countries to another
Exactly.
country.
Come to Malaysia, come to different countries, and they start their small setups, and they work over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, anyone come from other countries to that particular countries, of course, we need to understand the law, basic law. What is the opportunities? I think always looking opportunity, don't looking for problems. Okay. So when you come to another country, we have to treat them equally to everyone. We are like human being, am I right? So like when I was in Australia, Prof, when I was in Australia, 4 years time I was there. I'm not just studying PhD. I'm also looking at the what you say entrepreneurs. So they are actually professional entrepreneurs. They are migrate from let's say from Malaysia to Melbourne to Sydney, but they bring their own business. Something like some other doctors. They open their own clinic. They also bringing the construction business and so on. They set up. But what I see that their law very favorable to help them. All right. So I keep on telling just now, we respect everyone. Doesn't matter. You can go anywhere in the country. We are human. We are the same. We are no different. I always tell anywhere I go, you don't have 4 eyes, only 2 eyes, right? Same, nothing. Everything same, except you speak in different language. I speak in different language. That's all. But in terms of the connectivity, we are the same problems. I think the entrepreneurship is not a problem on our country. It's actually across abroad. So entrepreneur actually, what we try to do that is like China, Prof. Once a time, China closed door. Am I right, Prof? But today they already conquered the world. How they conquer the world, Prof? You look at the many countries in the world, they are setting up the business, all right? And they are really hard work. They go in their hard life, setting up business, and then you look at in UK, they go as a migrant workers there and working hard life, but set up a small business, become millionaire. I can see in UK when I was studying UK, I see a lot of my church members in UK from they migrate from 1 million, they migrate to the 1960. They're very hard life, they work so hard, hard labor. But after a while, they're setting up their own business. They're selling the food, take away business, and they build the big houses. But the children, of course, they don't come back to their old business, but their children going to the other profession. But what I'm telling you, this community already established a kind of from the labor to entrepreneur. This is an interesting part. So same thing also when they let's say Bangladeshi come here, I think probably you are here, a lot of Bangladeshi from Bangladesh, they have become bosses, bosses. And in Indonesia, they come as a worker. Now they are the run the business. They build the house. They have the workers. They know A to Z. So I believe everybody have the opportunity to do anywhere. Like as pro, like say I'm coming to Morocco. I can set up Center for Labor Studies. What's the problem, Prof? So I can bring the money to you from ILO, World Bank, example. So I got expertise. So I can bring from Korean Foundation. So your Morocco can grow with this consultancy firm.
Exactly.
From professional side of this. So we are not looking at Malaysia, no. Looking at India, no. We are looking at that particular country. So we're growing them. So in the end of the day, don't work in silo. We have to work as a big team. And your country is a super problem because you are the center of the world. You know? Latin America, just 5 hours from there. Yeah, Africa, fantastic. You got Africa unexplored, bro. Many explore unexplored. Maybe Morocco can explore many business, especially education, you know, giving the proper education to the Africans, especially.
When you come here, you will be like more of a kind of edupreneur, and you are an entrepreneur. Sure, you are creating opportunities in education sector exactly.
Yeah, no, I'll give an example, but there are a lot of opportunities that we can work in Malaysia. A lot of you know, telecommunication business, logistic, bro. One of the best area you can explore in Malaysia, logistic and transportation. Many things. You know, Lazada, all the Grab, you know, Grab business. So all this is interesting, bro. Gig, they call gig business.
Gig business.
Yes,
correct.
yeah.
It's a lot to learn, a lot to move on.
Yeah. That's why I told many of my students, my friends around the world. I said we are actually a global society. We are no more we don't speak for the country. You know, we can speak English, so it's okay, no problem. But most important that how you penetrate the business everywhere in the world. So it's like work. You no more like China, US. No more. It's actually the small will coming out in the world now. The small component of the countries is going to be a giant in the future, and there will be online business going to be conquer the whole world very soon. No more. You have retailing. You don't have retailing. You can buy things from Morocco to Malaysia within 2 days. Your product can come here. So they're going to have something amazing.
One question I would like to ask: how you make the differentiation between a fair wage and a minimum wage?
Okay, minimum wage is a minimum set by the employer and employee. Fair is a beyond. Fair is a more to even we call living wage. Living wage is actually including their cost of, you know, their cost, you know, how they expand their expenditure and so on. So recently, World Bank Negara come up with a living wage, asked to pay 2,800. That is a living wage, fair wage. But minimum wage, actually minimum set by the employer and the employee. The capacity of the employer can pay or not. And we got a formula. I think I showed the report just now. I showed the formula just now. We have formula to employer and employee. So with this formula, Prof, is actually fair to both. So fair wages is beyond the like cost of living and so on. So minimum is just minimum. That's all. But it's setting by the tripartism spirit. So it's like proposal come from both parties. But of course, the technical committee that I mentioned to you just now, we are the professors sitting committee to do research, to come up with a report on the minimum rate, and then we propose to the council. And the council will debate. If they agree, come back to us again. That's all. But normally they agree because we're giving a proper research through the qualitative, quantitative data, and then prepare a report. Every 2 years, we revise the salary for minimum wage. So it's a minimum. It's not any fair. It's a totally different. Fair is a kind of not other things. That's a fair wages.
Prof, is there any fixed wage structure that is available for the informal workers?
Oh no. The reason, Prof, very difficult to detect them. So informal sector, not easy to detect them because we don't know the numbers. We don't know, but there are many. So you cannot fix the minimum wage only for those have document and proper contract under the law. So it's actually formal workers covered, but informal no. But sometimes the employer Prof, they will deviate themselves to informal. You understand what I mean? So they don't pay the under the formal they will deviate their business to informal sector. That will happen also like that. But that is a problem we are counting now. So we are also looking at how how to document this informal sector. So COVID-19 actually brings us a good way of document them, because the government realized when they do the test on the COVID-19, they found that many foreign workers undocumented. This is we call informal. So now they have to regularize them. That's a good COVID-19. The
That's
best.
opportunity. That's true. That's true.
Okay, bro.
So any questions coming from any students? Anybody?
Yeah, we have some question from our student from Malaysia, few, and 2 or 3 students from your 3 or 4 students from African Business School. Very good question. They all very intelligent. Very intelligent. They're asking the global issue, not localized. I encourage, bro. You can bring your student here, and we can join with my students. Let them discuss among themselves. We put them in Kuala Lumpur. Let go there. They will discuss some collaborative, and then they can come up with some ideas, bro. Books or articles.
We are exactly planning to visit research universities, entrepreneurial universities.
If they can come up with a special paper, whatever, together with them, so that your student, my student, can work together. So that will be much better for them to network.
Networking also, they will get an idea about updated softwares, updated learning opportunities, everything.
I'm really appreciate your way of doing, Prof. This is a very good network. Not only scholars connected, but also student connected. That's why I bring my student here. And I think Dr. Normala also here. I'm taking to later. I may have an appointment with her, so we can discuss together. And I think this is a good network between East and West. So this is a very interesting.
Exactly, Prof. So there'll be an opportunity, sure.
Okay.
So I think nobody has any further questions. Anybody? Last chance before Prof. You can ask.
Anybody? I mean, there's another my student, DBA student, Mr. Lim was there. He's doing DBA Pro, Terengganu. He's from Terengganu. He's a deputy director for hospital, Terengganu. Very interesting. Yeah, that's why I told you just now. There. He opened the video.
Okay. Hi, Lim.
So this student, all of them, Pro, all working adult. They are very busy in the workplace. So like I agree with your idea just now, Prof. Dilip, Mr. Lim, Prof. Dilip was talking about the way we are doing things, applied research. From the industry to the PhD or DBA. He's doing DBA, Prof. DBA.
He's doing DBA.
Very hardworking student.
Good.
This is Prof. Dilip, we met him through the social media. So I'm very kind to see all of you here.
Prof is exactly one of the editorial board member of my journal also, so we have long connections.
Oh, yeah. You told me last time. Exactly.
So that is also
I'm waiting for that
contribution. It's already applauded your contributions, and likewise that's right.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you very much, Prof. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you so much for taking us to your knowledge level and to get some understanding about the knowledge pertaining to the wage, to the minimum wage, and likewise which is happening in Southeast Asian countries, especially Malaysia. And I hope Morocco also having this structure, and likewise the students of here would be able to look on this content and try to correlate what are the differences, how it makes variations between the East and the West, and likewise, right? It's a great opportunity given by you to them on the behalf of Africa Business School and the Dean of Campus and the university. Let me extend you the sincere thanks for grooming our young kids, Moroccan kids, to become somebody in their intellectual level. Thank you so much, Prof, for having joined.
Okay, same thing also, Prof. I'd like to thanks to you, especially Prof. Dilip. I always follow you in the LinkedIn. You have a lot of webinars. Follow. And also all the beloved students in Morocco, PhD student, and also all my students from Malaysia, and also my friends, Dr. Ganesan. I think Dr. Ganesan, Dr. Prof, we can connect with him because he's a labor history expert. You know labor history. You know the trade union movement, all these. So that's why I'm bringing here. And the good news, Prof, we are planning to set up, going to set up association we call Malaysian Industrial Relation and Human Resource Association. So later I will bring you as a advisory board international. Absolutely. And also some of your members. This is our ambition, Prof. We want to set up this one to link to the ILO. So probably we are going to have a think tank for the government, and really need your support to be in the committee later on. So we can do like more academic and non-academic program.
Right. Absolutely right. ILO connection, getting that labor international level organizations is a great opportunity.
All right. Okay. Okay. So thank you very much, and good night. Good afternoon. Your country, good afternoon.
It's good afternoon. 3:05.
We are good night.
And good night to you too.
Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye.